This is an action roguelite where you can play solo or with up to 7 friends in co-op. The game drops you into a fantasy world where you find through errors, collect a ton of power-ups and try to escape. What makes this game interesting is how chaotic it gets when you start stacking all these power-ups together. And the game has a meaningful day-night cycle that actually affects gameplay. And of course there's the fact that you can actually bring a whole squad of people, if that's what you desire. So here's how the game works. You begin in a hub where you can pick missions from a board, and each mission sends you to different locations with different objectives. You can choose from different characters and they all play pretty differently. The weapons you find scale with different stats like strength, agility or magic. Once you're in a mission, you're exploring these big open maps looking for power crystals and completing trials. You also need to finish whatever the main objective is, for example killing certain enemies or stealing something. The maps have a day-night cycle, and when night comes around, stronger enemies show up. You have 3 days to complete everything before you need to escape. The combat here is pretty hands-on and satisfying. You can do the usual stuff like light attacks, charge up heavier hits, and each character has special abilities. The bow character can shoot arrows and throw a log that goes through enemies and walls. The melee characters can do battle cries and spinning attacks. You find weapons throughout the run and can swap between them whenever you want. The game has quite a few weapon types. There are swords, bows, crossbows, hammers, and each one feels different to use. Now this game has a power-up system that gets pretty interesting. You find these items everywhere, from chests, shops, toilets, and by completing challenges. These power-ups stack with each other, so you might get one that increases your attack speed, another that adds elemental damage, and another that gives you more health. By the end of a run, you can be doing hundreds or thousands of damage per hit, when you started doing like 6 damage. The game has shops run by NPCs where you can buy items with the gold you collect. You can furthermore find healing stations to restore your health. And there are these special toilets called Spirit of Harmony that give you a random item. Some of the chests need keys to open, and those usually have better loot inside. Each zone ends with a boss fight. The bosses are pretty big and as always have their own attack patterns you have to learn. After you beat the boss, you collect whatever objective item you needed, and then you have to escape to a specific location before darkness takes over. The game has different stats you build into. When you pick a stat boost, it affects all your abilities and weapons that scale with that stat. So for example, if you go all in on agility, then your bow will start doing massive damage, and you're going to attack really fast. There's also meta progression outside of runs. You collect these choose box items that you can spend in the hub to unlock permanent upgrades, and these carry over between runs. The game has this ingredient and choice system where what you pick affects what shows up in your run. That means different enemies, locations and bosses can appear based on your choices. Essentially, you're building your own run each time, instead of getting the same thing every playthrough. Since the game is in early access, the developers are planning to add more characters, weapons, power-ups and features over the next year. Right now the game is fully playable from start to finish with everything working, but they want to expand the variety and replay value. They have experience working on games like Fortnite and Rocket League. And this sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.